Well, welcome everybody to the open house of the men's mastermind. Great to be with the guys here. Great to be with anyone who's joining us um, for the first time or who isn't normally joining us. Um, Feels like valuable to share kind of what we're doing here because it feels really impactful, and I think we're making a positive difference, not just in the lives of the people who are here, but the lives of the family members, the friends, the coworkers, the employees, the people that are being interacted with each day. So thanks for having the space to be here with us and see what we're up to. So what we're up to is I've been doing this for over 5 years now. Jacob's been with me since close to the beginning, and several of the other guys have been with us for a while. And then we have some people that are with us new, but there's kind of a resonant field, sort of like if you were like expanding a team and you'd want to feel like who's a player that you could add to the team and it would make the team better. That's kind of the way I approach the space here. So it's been awesome to kind of build the team over time and just see the transformations that have been made in everybody's lives that participates and continues to show up and be committed to the space. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. Um, the format that we use is we have 10 different areas that we work with. So that's the physical self, the mental self, the emotional self, spiritual, family, relationship, community, work, financial, and home. And those kind of the areas that cover all the primary elements of your life. And we're asking this question of if anything's possible, what are you called to create in these 10 areas? And getting into that space of anything is possible can be a challenge, as I think we all know. But that is the challenge that we face head on of coming in that space of what's the real truth inside us, what's the authentic essence, what we're really called to create in this world beyond the self-imposed limitations and limiting beliefs and thought patterns, and really accessing that. And then how do we get there? Once we have the vision of where we're called to go in our lives, how do we get there? And so the mastermind really supports oneself and others to first get tuned in to where you're called to go, and then how do you get there? And how do you get there is sort of an ongoing question. It's not like the answer is the same in 1970 as it was in 2025 or 1500. It's like it's a constantly changing question. So that's why it's great to be in here live and be um, coming into a kind of a communal inquiry of how to actualize our lives in these 10 primary areas. So the format that we generally use is we come in, we have a check-in. How are you feeling in this moment? Then we go through the accountability of the intentions that the guys have committed themselves to for the week. So we check in on what worked, what didn't work, what was accomplished, what wasn't accomplished. And then we have space for open forums for sharing any kind of questions or things that are rising or challenges or adversity or successes, and just have a place to hash out anything that would be helpful to get feedback from the rest of the group. And then we set the intentions for the following week, and then we close it out and just keep making that progress and keep moving and keep feeling like there's full commitment to the journey and there's focus on actualizing the highest and best version of ourselves, and there's something that feels really fulfilling and alive and right, as some people say, it feels like you're living in alignment. So that's what we've been doing here, and we'll just kind of be a little bit different, right? Because there's this is something that's open to the people, so maybe there won't be the same level as vulnerability. We have a confidential space when it's just us here, but we'll give you like a little taste of what we've been doing. And everybody here has been making a um, just a positive impact in the world, and I feel they're all inspired to make a positive impact in the world. So I think, they all have their different projects and um, things that they're working on creating in the world. So you can hear about those things and potentially plug into some of those projects as well. But we start off with the check-in. So, yeah, just how we're feeling in the moment. So let's start with Jacob. How you feeling? Grateful
I'm
to be
feeling
here?
great. Glad to be here. Yeah, I feel great. One of my uh, one of my goals and intentions. It's been a while ago now, but was to be free of any aches and pains. And I've had aches in my shoulders and neck and lower back at different times, and I have been totally ache and pain free for weeks now. And my body's feeling amazing. Mind is feeling good. I'm feeling full of gratitude, full of grace. Spirit's feeling good. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent.
Thanks.
You're
Jeffrey,
very quiet, Jacob. I don't know why, but
Ah,
you're very quiet today for some reason.
you're actually,
okay.
I would say, Dan, you're very loud. So maybe something on your side. It's one of those like, you know, how did you guys hear it that way?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound like your volume's higher than normal. So I don't know why that is, but
And just
No,
boom, man.
if
not
if
change
it
microphone volume.
is it only Jacob or is it me too?
No, you
Just
sound
Jacob.
Okay.
How about
Jeff,
now?
try it again, Jacob.
Is this better now if I'm closer to the mic?
Yeah, I'll actually chime in really quick and say that Jacob sounded really, really quiet to me as
Oh,
well.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
I must have strong ears. Jeff?
All right, yeah, I'm feeling good in the moment.
Okay. Now I see. I turned up my volume because you were low, and now these guys are all loud. So now I realize it is me. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, feeling good in the moment. Similar to Jacob, I'm feeling great lately. He actually just called me yesterday while I was at the gym, and I told him I'm feeling better and better every day. Um, for everyone chiming in, I was diagnosed with Lyme like back in August, so that's what I'm referencing to. But yeah, just feeling great all around, good, and glad to be here. Stoked to see what happens tonight. I'm complete with that.
Thanks, Jeff. Jason with the epic hat and shirt.
Oh, good to be with you guys. I am grateful to be here, coming to you from Southern California. I'm on the opposite end of the Turtle Island, as they call the indigenous would say, but it's a great nation. Arcing with my brothers over there on the East Coast. And just grateful to be here on this final, day of this season of Mastermind Men's Group. Um, Kind of in awe, man. I've said before, I've been connected to you, Brian, for quite a while, and just always felt like kindred spirit. I'm grateful for you calling me on the team, and just grateful to be amongst these men that have helped me become a better man, and without competition. It's really beautiful. Um, just heart to heart, being a better version of ourselves. So I'm super grateful to be here at the end. Not, life is busy, but this has been a priority, and I'm super grateful to because it was about this time last season where I came on. I saw a video like this in my thread, and I was like, wow, it was great to hear what these men were up to. And so if you're out there listening to this and you feel the call, man, I know that feeling. So grateful, grateful, grateful.
Thanks, Jason.
Mhm.
Avery, also with a great hat. You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I was inspired. That's part and parcel with the mastermind.
We inspire each other.
Jason Michael Powers out there in Southern California with his fly hat. I went to get mine on, you know. Um,
We do have a
so
few Midwestern boys, by the way,
yeah,
too.
I was about to self-identify. You can probably see maybe the light of the fire on me. I'm sitting by the fire here in Southern Indiana in the Middle West. Um, So I'm not really with the East Coast brethren either, a few hundred miles away. Just for a little check-in this week, I'm feeling similar to last week. I don't want to go like deep into it, but it's kind of like remember I was feeling like kind of like just physically sick, like a light headache, just a little bit of like low grade nausea. That's kind of persisted all week. Um, so I mean, I know we're not doing intentions right now, but I'm gonna set an intention to get to the like start figuring this out because I don't know. I feel like I turned 40 and then like for the first time in my life, my body just doesn't feel like the way I want it to feel anymore. So I need to go figure out what needs tweaking, I guess. Um, but uh, mentally, emotionally, I'm happy to be here. Glad to be here with
Mhm.
you guys. And excited to kind of recap the year and dream together a little bit. So
Sweet.
I'm complete with that.
Yeah, one thing that's cool about the group is we have younger guys, guys of different ages, different generations. So one thing that I could say is, I know Jason's similar to my age, if you want to reflect on this as well, but I would say the older you get, the older I get, there's the way I would say it is like there's less room for mistakes. So like
Mm,
you have to be more meticulous with your health regimen. When I was like, college age, let's say, could go out binge drinking and wake up tomorrow, morning, go do your thing. And it's like, it's not, it's you spring back, and where it's when you get older, it's just, but the good thing is you're wiser, you understand the body so much better.
yeah,
So it's like a positive and a negative, right? I didn't understand my body at all when I was younger, right? So I would misuse it so much. But now
right.
I know how to take care of it properly, but there's not as much room for error either.
Right, and it's those bad habits we learn in
Yeah.
youth, because you can do a six pack of beer and a family pack of Skittles
Yeah.
and feel more or less
Yeah.
okay, even though that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I'd be wrecked if I did that
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what
And
you're saying.
yeah, and like sleep is really big,
Hmm.
right? It's like couple nights of sleep, like you miss a couple nights, you can maybe get away with one, but you start getting like two, three, and you can feel it,
Hmm.
It's just like, whereas when you're younger, it's, not, you don't feel it in the same way.
Right.
But yeah, but I think like I said, the good part is like there's such a especially if you're on a path of, health and wellness, you have such a better understanding of how to take care of the body that you can do it.
Hmm.
And yeah. But yeah, we'll help you get it figured out. All right, Dan.
I'm just excited to be here with Indiana Jones. That's exactly what came to mind, Avery. Um,
Indiana Wilson.
that's right. Um, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm an Australian from Adelaide, currently in Minnesota. In 2 weeks, I will be residing in Asheville. So representing different areas. But right now we're in the thick of the snowy Minnesota winter. Yeah, it's been a good day. I just got off the phone talking to my grandmother who's turned, actually I don't know if it was 97 or 98. I'm pretty sure it was 97 today. Um, so she's still going pretty strong, all things considered. Her mum went to over 100. So um and yeah, just been having some good connection with Caitlin. We're really on the same page with this move and really excited for everything. So that's been above average. I think we're generally pretty on the same page, but yeah, I think we're all excited. So that's really good.
Awesome. I should mention for those who are not usually here, we have a few of the guys that aren't with us currently. So I just wanted to be aware of that and honor them as well. Um, yeah, moving. Moving's been I'm looking at the screen, and we have three guys that have made or in the process of making a big physical move. One that's exploring possibilities, Jason. And but yeah, let's take it more metaphorical, just moving in general, just kind of exploring how being here has supported you in positive transformation in your life. there's the physical move, but there's other areas as well. So I know some of you touched on a few things in the first round, but just want to give you a chance again to kind of share, your story and your journey. And we'll start with Jacob.
All right. Yeah. So I started the mastermind January 2020. So, closing out December 2025, I think that's 6 years if I've done the math right. Somebody can check me on that. But this is 20 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 to 23, 23 to 24, 25 to 26, 5 years. Sorry. I don't know how I counted six. Anyways, yeah, I've come a long way in these 5 years. Um, Realized a lot of things within myself, a lot of things around myself. I've learned a lot of presence and paying attention to what I'm doing, who I am, um, and looking at where I want to be and doing the things that it takes to change my person and change who I am here. And I have um, probably totally become a new creature. I don't know if there's anything much that's left of the 5 year ago version of me. Transformations. I was depressed and I was making maybe struggling to make $10,000 or $12,000 a year. Um, I was so sick in my body physically, emotionally. I was at a place where I was waking up crying every morning, begging not to see the light of day because I was so sick in my everything. And many of you guys have heard the story before, but was dependent on 160 milligrams of methadone, which is a deadly dose. And so within the first year of starting the first mastermind, I realized coming off of that. And from there, it's just been like a snowball, rolling down a hill, gaining momentum, gaining mass, gaining speed, and it's all it's all been amazing and beautiful and good stuff, great stuff. The community I'm surrounded by, the friends I have, um, just amazing. So I'm in a whole new level of transformation and stepping. I feel myself stepping into new levels now, even higher and I don't want to say demanding, but calling me forth. Um, Whole new levels of human and spirit and presence and uh, I'm here for it. I'm open for it and amazed at the transformation that's taken place and amazed at the transformation that's coming. So I think I'm complete with that. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Jacob. One of the things that I've uh, really seen, like you're like an example of it, is just when when someone's like really consistent and committed and focused, it's the transformation kind of has to happen, you know? I'm kind of realizing like over the years, like the simplicity of that.
Yeah,
And, yeah,
I can speak something to that
yeah.
actually. The experiences, the transformations that I've experienced, um, I think really that's one of the most key things is the consistency in what I'm doing because really I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know like I've had these magical experiences and it seems like they just I just happen upon them. And we had this conversation a while back, Brian. It appears that I just happened upon this, new whatever it is. And it's actually because I've never really been that intellectual. I've never really read many books until recently. I'm really digging into reading many books, but I've never really known what to do or how to be or anything like that, but I show up consistently for myself, and I have my practices, which are simple, just very simple things. And I just do these things every day, every week, every day, every week. And it just opens me up for, or it puts me in a place of presence. I think that's what it comes down to is just presence. And the synchronicities and the everything going on around me is always going on. It's been going on forever. And I just come into the place where I'm able to see it and realize it and be a part of it. So the consistency, I think, is one of the main driving forces that have opened that up for me.
And the consistency allows you to tune out the distractions, of which there are many
Those are all around too.
all around, more than ever.
Yeah, more than ever. But so is the magic and so is the mystical. All that stuff is more real and more true than all the distractions and the chaos that seem real.
I think I don't want to get too much back and forth, but you have to know where to look. Like it is available, but someone could listen and be like, "Oh, I don't see it anywhere."
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So you have to know where to look, and having the support of others to kind of give you that confirmation, um, is really valuable. But yeah, thanks for sharing. Okay, Jeff, your turn.
Yep. So I've been in this mastermind. I think it's been 2.5 years. I think in June it'll be 3. Um, so yeah, quite a while. I have completely transformed as well. Just kind of looking back to the first season of the mastermind I was on, I remember I couldn't even speak really.
That's a great point.
Publicly. Like I was so scared to even open my mouth. So got over that. Yeah, and then I was single. I now have a wonderful, amazing girlfriend who's the love of my life. I have left Ohio where I grew up, and we bought a place in Tennessee with 17 and a half acres. We're working on building a healing sanctuary. So, yeah, I left my job that it was a good, well-paying job. I liked it. I tolerated it at times, liked it at other times. But it wasn't my purpose. Like it wasn't what I was sent to this earth to do. So now I feel like I'm stepping more and more into my purpose every day, and this group has been valuable to me just as yeah, like support and guys to talk to, other men to bounce ideas off of, and just get their support and things like that. And not to mention, two of my best friends are in here, so it's always nice to see them. It's just an added bonus. So yeah,
Sweet. And you and Jacob met here, right?
we did. Yeah, we met here and then met at a breathwork in person.
Yeah. That's one of the things I think of a mastermind too, that's kind of a secondary level that's really powerful when you can get the networking component, and I think God brings the right people together to take you to the next level.
Hmm.
So that's something I think can be really valuable in spaces like this as well. I love seeing like the different friendships that form and different, business connections and relationships. And, you and Regina met at, well, almost 1 year ago now, right? At our New Year's
Yep.
retreat.
Yep.
So yeah, I love that.
Yep.
All right. Indiana Wilson, your turn.
Indiana Wilson. Man, has this been 2 years for me? I think I joined maybe just one session after Jeff did. Um, so yeah, I met Jeffrey at a music festival, and then met Jacob like a couple months later at another music festival. And we hit it off, and they invited me. They thought I could be a fit for this group. Not so much that I bring stuff to the group. They more meant that I was a fit that I needed to get my life together, maybe. I don't know. So uh drew me in. And man, I was in a place before I joined the mastermind where I was like my consciousness was opening up and I was kind of coming off autopilot. Not like autopilot, like I'd done good things, like I was in a loving relationship with my wife and dad to my kids, but I was like ready to level up, I think. Like I was looking for something more. And Jeff and Jacob and I mean, we'd have hours of just random late night discussions about this stuff, like how to grow in consciousness and um, how to level up and be better versions of ourselves. And so that's what we're doing here. And yeah, I've made some pretty big, like a pretty big move since we started that. And I remember Brian asking me like what my timeline was. He was like, asked me what I imagined for my life. And I was like, man, I want to go. My family has like a 90-acre property in southern Indiana that's been in our family for a long time. It was the old family farm. And I was like, man, I want to move there. I want to go create, you know, the family home there for like the next generations and for my friends and just a good gathering place. And my timeline was 7 to 10 years. Um, I think I told you, Brian, that it was 7 to 10 years, like in the fall, and we were moved in within a year. So, um, just like it's incredible how much power there is in setting a vision out there and stating it and then taking the little steps. It's like the proverb of how do you eat an elephant, I thought it would just be maybe like an insurmountable amount of work to make this transition. Like with my wife having a career and my daughters, being really social and plugged into their school, but man, like everyone has like leveled up with this move in our family and it was just the right thing. Um and still like along the way intentionally trying to grow in consciousness and like really, I mean, not to put too religious of a spin on it, but like really like grow in like the fruits of the spirit, peace and patience and gentleness and kindness and self-control and like all the things I see when I like see men that I respect. They're not necessarily macho, um, but they're calm, they're collected, they're not upset easily when, life hits them. And I'm like that's what I'm going for. Um, those are the areas I want to grow in, and I have been. Um, and I think maybe it's just being in this conscious field with these guys, intending on doing this, and when you intend on doing it, it happens. It's like magic. So I
Sweet.
think
Couple, I'll share a few reflections on that. So, um, sharing intentions to a group of people, like saying it out loud to a group of people, I think is like really powerful because
because
if you're sharing your intentions to the group and you have some sense of like integrity in yourself, which, everyone here does for sure, then it's like, oh, I just said that to these people and they heard me. So now I gotta kind of do that, you know?
you're on the hook.
Yeah, you're on the hook in a
You
good
put
way,
yourself on the
right?
hook.
In a good way. You're
Yeah.
on a hook to live the highest and best version of yourself, which is
Hmm.
the hook you want to be on, right? So it's like you're basically like communicating the where you want to go with the highest best version of yourself. And then you have these other, in this case, men that are listening. They're like, okay, it's kind of like getting to know, like we don't know like what somebody wants to do or create in their life unless they tell us, unless we're psychic or something, right? But generally
Hmm.
speaking, we don't know what they want. So then someone can verbalize it because we live in a world where most people don't even know inside themselves what they want to create in their life, right? So like, we're putting the question, then they get insight into something, and then you communicate it, and it's almost like a collective prayer where the group is like, okay, well, we're all visualizing that for you now. And that can't be understated, like how powerful that is. Because unfortunately, I know you guys are aware of this. So many people, I would say the majority of people, share their dreams at an early age, and they're sharing it to family members or, people in school, and they're getting their dreams squashed. Oh, you'll never do that. Like just putting them down. And then they kind of squash their dreams then, and they don't even reaccess them anymore. So I think it is. I actually would advise people, if you don't feel like you're talking to someone that's supportive of your dreams, don't share them with them, because it's actually very damaging to put that out there and have someone just, squash it on you, right?
Mhm.
Unless you're really developed. There's a certain point where it's okay, kind of like a sprout of a tree. Like if it's just came out of the ground, you can step on it and kill it, But if it gets to a certain point, it's strong enough where it can withhand some withhand it can handle some storms and so forth. Um, so I think that those two components of like being able to share it with a group of people that support the vision and are holding that vision for you, I think it's really powerful. It's really um, such a key component to transformation. So I think that's a
Mhm.
special container that I think feel like we hold here, where it's like I never heard anybody ever in here say someone share their intentional dream and someone else say you can't do that or that's not possible. Like it's just understood that it is possible, and we're holding that vision for each other, even if it's a big dream. And if you do have a big dream and maybe it doesn't come around in 3, 4 months, it's okay. It'll come around, you know, the next three, it'll come around when it comes around. Like the timing of it isn't necessarily, because I think that's something that happens is people get really fixated on trying to control, like the ego wants to make it happen how it wants to happen and when it wants to happen. And it's not the right way to do it. It's just like you kind of, to me, the intention is coming from, a higher intelligence, right? It's coming from God. And so then the same intelligence that's giving you that vision will find the way for it to manifest. You don't have to know all the ins and outs of how that's going to happen or the timing
Mhm.
of it. So yeah, and then one other thing you mentioned about the vision you see in men, like that
Mhm.
the calming the calming presence. That's something I just get a lot of confirmation about. We were talking about um the attraction of women to men, and how, I mean, there's many qualities, right? But one of the qualities is women being attracted to men that make their nervous system feel relaxed,
Mm.
right? And so I think that's a really important quality, just of how we can be a benefit, to others in our lives. But obviously that takes cultivation and um, practice, so to speak. I don't know if practice is the right word, but intention takes intention.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Avery. Let's go to Dan.
So this is my first time in the group. Brian, I can't remember how we got in touch. I know it was last year, and I
There was a Telegram group, and I saw you on there, and you were saying something about, I think you were saying something about how you were like thinking about moving to North
oh,
Carolina or the area or the region and what you were looking for.
okay.
And I just had this like I just get this intuitive sense. That's kind of how I feel like when I'm doing the best, the best thing to happen for me is when I'm following this inner guidance.
Yeah,
And I
sure.
just got this inner guidance like, write this guy, you know. So I sent you a
Uh,
private message, and then we were kind of going back and forth with voice memos and just went from there.
I remember. That's why couldn't quite remember because you took the initiative,
Yeah.
which I normally I'm normally an initiative taker, so
Uh-huh.
that's very. I'm glad I asked. Do you remember what group it was?
Yeah, I don't want to say, but it was
Okay,
it was a
sure,
group.
sure. That's fine. Yeah, you don't need to say, but you do remember. Just
Yeah.
because I've tried to remember and I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so anyway, that was last year, and then I knew about this group, but it wasn't the right timing. And then this season I joined in, which has been perfect timing,
Uh-huh.
and it's been really valuable to um, develop the routine of setting an intention and reviewing it, and then and talking about it, and watching which things had some continuity, like which things I had a desire to continue with and which things came and went. And I think it's definitely helped give momentum and clarity to our move. And I mean, for me, honestly, the most valuable thing this group, along with the digital detox, was feeling like after some effort, starting to break through into the ecosystem of the Western North Carolina region because I chose the place in a it was very abstract and very theoretical, and I didn't want to move somewhere because of an idea. But I had a conviction that the idea was real. There would be like-minded people in that region. Um, it's a pretty spiritually alive place, I think. And yeah, so for you, like connecting with you, Brian, in those two ways, and then what that's opened up has been the real world. Well, you're talking about manifesting, like the manifestation of uh, a very high level theoretical thing, which is
Hmm.
how I operate. But I've learned over the years I can't just live in the theory. I need to actually walk it out. And so it's been really gratifying to see like, okay, I was picking up some real data points and definitely the digital detox really solidified. Because I think that happened just after the group began. So I met a few of you guys in person. Not all,
September.
but good handful. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's me really. That's the
I think
main.
you've made like, I mean, the guys can reflect on this too, but you made tremendous progress since September. Like
Mm,
you seem pretty just, I don't know, just yeah, thinking about a move, thinking about potentially that area to like, I have a house and I'm going in a couple weeks. That's where we are
yeah,
now.
it really happened quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't recall anything I've done in the past that, and I'm sure there have been things, but not in the recent memory that's had so little friction. It's pretty wild. Even with connecting with, like, I needed to find an office. For those listening in, I'm a counselor. I work with couples, and I needed to find an office. And the second place I looked at was cool. Didn't really have to research it or anything. And turns out the people that own the building are a husband and wife couple that are really, really rad. I talked to him today, and he essentially feels like, well, he feels people are being drawn to the area, and he kind of more or less was like saying, yeah, I think maybe you're being drawn to this area, and it's a whole story I won't go into now, but they're from Minneapolis, so they're from where I am now.
Nice.
And they've been there, I think he said 27 years in the Black Mountain area, digging deep roots. And it sounds to me like things are starting to come to fruition. And I'm just walking into this whole ecosystem. So it's not just an office. It's a lot more than an office. Um, so yeah, lack of friction has been quite
The
wild.
synchronicity start unfolding.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. What date did you say you make the move?
I can't remember if we decided on the third or the fourth we're going to start driving. It's one of those two. I think we're going to
Okay.
take 3 days to do the drive,
Okay.
and then we're going to touch down, and I'm going to see Jacob in person
On the
at the
6th.
uh, at the destination. Yeah. So it's going to give us a hand to unpack a few boxes and that'll be it. So yeah, we're staying
Okay.
in an Airbnb for the first month as we get our house
Yep.
established. But by February we'll be all moved in.
If somehow you can leave a few days earlier, you could join us for the New Year's
I know. I
retreat
did
again.
think of it. We
Yeah.
did talk about that. It's like, is there a way, But
Hmm.
yeah, it's tricky.
Yep. All right. Want to just open up for a little bit? And was there further reflections or
Did Jason already share? No, Jason didn't.
you
Hadn't
didn't
shared
you
yet.
didn't
That's
share?
goes, man.
Sorry, Jason.
My wife's gonna watch this going, yeah, there's that pattern again.
That's why that's why
Thank you,
Jacob
Jacob.
is the vet. He
Yeah,
watches me close.
yeah, yeah. That's so funny. So, what's moving? What's moved? So I am a new kid on the block to this group, and I've opened my own groups before. I've ran groups of men. I've had, and I was one of the things I stated earlier on with this men was that it's just good not to be that guy. It's just good to just have a seat, be amongst the men and receive and not feel like, you got to be that guy. Cause that's what I do for work all the time. I've got to be that guy that's got to be speaking and sharing and guiding. And it's just good that's the hard part is to let that go and just be available, be vulnerable, be authentic, be transparent. So I'm grateful for that. You know, what's moved is that trust. There's a trust that I think we men that it's good to be in a space that I trust these men. I trust their hearts. I trust their minds. Um, because men, we get together sometimes and we're competing, we're converting, we're convincing, we're condemning, we're doing all kinds of things that just men sometimes do when they get around each other. And I just see these men that I feel comfortable in connecting. And so the trust in being around a circle of men without feeling, your nervous system, you know, uh, in any kind of fight, flight, freeze, or any of that. It's just good to feel at ease. And so, there's a lot. I feel like what's moved a lot also is just there's this idea that we're talking about. I love that we're talking about magic. I often say I'm a natural magician using the metaphysical laws of the universe. That's what magic is when you just understand how this thing works and you align with it, and it gets really cool. You experience what's called normicals. They're not miracles, it's just normal. It's just what you do. You align with the divine mind, and you're in a coherent field with amazing men who are, we don't talk about religion, but we're Christed hearted men, that want to be better versions for what we're doing, what we've got our focus on. And so, whew, can you feel that? Right?
Yes.
I just got chills. So it's like, you know, what we do and what I've been doing is moving my attention and my intention. And so when my attention's on my intentions in these 10 areas, life gets really good. And it's really good to kind of move my energy because, we've got our goals, we've got our things we're thinking of. But when you get in a field of these kind of men, and we're putting our attention on what we really want to better, and not just, it's like you did, Brian, like 1 to 3 years, how do you see your life? These areas, what do you want to just a little bit, just a little tweak here and there. And then, we got together last week and we just talked about where we're crushing it and where we need to grow and what we're, no shame, no judgment, just areas that we want to be better in. And, I'm very aware of where I want to grow in, and and it's okay to be proud of yourself where you are doing well. We don't celebrate our victories a lot of times. We want to be humble, right? And it's like humility is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and showing up. And, I'm super excited to connect to some of these men and deeper. I appreciate you brothers who have reached out to me and want to drop in. I'm looking forward to that, in creating and arcing those heart to heart friendships, because I do feel kindred here. Um, and I'm going to continue. Hopefully, if time willing, that we're going to find a time, because I just, I had to cut work out to be here, and it's a priority. And Where my community, that's one of the areas that I want to grow in is, and I do have a community here of brothers that I feel very deeply connected to, inspired by. You know, you guys are real men, man. You're on the land. I'm out here in a little 2 bedroom apartment out here in Southern California going, man, you guys like, you drive machinery and you dig in the dirt, do things with you know, you're men. And I'm inspired. So the movement of inspiration, the movement of intention, the movement, and I feel like, you know, I want to share this piece for the women that are watching. You know, I don't know when, if it was last week or the week before. You know, sometimes when men get together, they may not intentionally, they might bash the women. They might not honor the women as much. You know, and we truly did. I was really proud of everybody in here. You know, like you said, Brian, like I know my wife, when she does listen to this, the fact that you said our job is to help our women in our life, their nervous system feels safe, you know, and sometimes I do that better than others. And, you know, helping be that rooted oak tree. This is the oak. My nickname is the mighty oak, you know, to be that oak tree that rooted in the ground, rooted so that we can be that presence for, you know, our women, our children. And that's something I'm inspired by you men. So
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Jason. We saved the best for last, maybe.
oh,
I love that what everyone shared. I want to touch on one thing about competition. So there's competition where it's like fueled by jealousy and envy and maybe even like revenge and this kind of stuff. And then there's like a healthy kind of natural form of in competition, which is really inspiration. Right. So like if you're around a bunch of guys and they're like going to the gym consistently and exercising, it's like, man, wow, that's awesome. I want to do that, you know? Or, they're really working on their relationships and they're really like having these relationships that are thriving more and more, then it's like, well, I want to have that kind of relationship. Or, you could take any of the 10 areas and it's like, I think that's the kind of like healthy dynamic between men where it's like they're inspiring you to be a better man, not because they're trying to force you, just because the way they're living and you're around them. And then you want to step into that place yourself as well. Co-op, co Cooperation, says Avery. That's a good one. We got
It's
normicals and cooperation.
called the come up.
I'm a I'm a connoisseur of portmanteaus. I love putting words together. So
Yeah,
maybe that's just a little bit like a dad joke grammar. I don't know. I think
yeah.
I've always
But
been drawn
that's
to
what I
that.
see. That's what I see happening here. And as much as I bash like social media, you can even use social media in that kind of a way if you're connected to people who are living the kind of lives that you aspire to, and they can inspire you to just be focused on the right things each day, and again,
Hmm.
not get sidetracked, not get distracted, but I think a more of a cohesive group where you actually, get to know each other, interact with each other, and know each other's dreams and where each other wants to go, and you can just hold those visions for each other. And I think that's a special thing to be a part of. So grateful and appreciative to be sharing the space with all of you. And any final thoughts anyone would like to share? While we're while we're talking about women and gratitude for women, I'll give gratitude and appreciation to my beloved, amazing wife, Annie, who's with us right now in the silent observation space. And yeah, I think that well, yeah, I think that the relationships that we're in, we can positively impact people in our lives, and they're also, when the relationship is dedicated to spiritual growth, then we're positively impacted as well. So
Hmm.
just wanted to vocalize that.
Mm,
On behalf of the ladies out there, the significant others.
we appreciate you.
Yes.
Massive appreciation.
Can you find what'd you call it, Avery, when you mixed?
A portmanteau.
If you can find a portmanteau for that.
For appreciating the wives,
Yeah.
the women. Man, I'll think about
That'll
it.
be a homework assignment for you.
Right.
Okay, so if you are interested in being a part of this group and you've gotten this far, just reach out and let me know, and we'll schedule a time to chat and see if it's a. I'm the gatekeeper, making make sure we don't get any troublemakers in here, but um, good people that you feel resonant with and you want to join us, let us know, and let me know actually. And this will be something we'll talk about off, not right now, but we're looking at potentially a different time of week. I don't know if you guys all know that, but I'm gonna check in with each of you and see if we can potentially do a different time of the week, maybe potentially earlier, because I think most everyone here has some flexibility in their day. So we'll look at that possibility. All right, I'm gonna turn the recording off, and then maybe we'll say goodbye after that. So thanks to all you for tuning in, and wishing you a beautiful now.